back with another amazing episode of the Future Jobs podcast show. I'm your host Fahad Jobswala, and I'm student at Rehan School Online Academy. Today on the show, I'm honored to welcome Elira Tikute. Elira Tikute is a visionary somatic and leadership coach, founder of Elira Flow, and host of the podcast Emergence with Elira. With over 18 years of experience in psychology, human resources, and personal development, she specializes in guiding sensitive, ambitious individuals toward deeper alignment through body centered practices and capacity based growth. Elira is renowned for pioneering concepts like soft power and sacred self leadership, challenging traditional business paradigms by emphasizing authenticity, integrity and the wisdom of the nervous system. Her work invites a reimagining of success, urging a shift from performance driven cultures to ones rooted in presence and inner truth. So, Lara, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Fahad. Thank you so much for having me. And what a beautiful introduction you did. I'm really loving it. It's a great summary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lara. And before starting the podcast, you told me it's not enough for you. 1 minute is not enough, or 5 minutes even not enough for you that I can introduce you. But I just did my best to introduce yourself. There's still a lot left for you, and I'm so excited. We're gonna discuss future of work with Elira, as my podcast is the future of podcast, and this is her wish that we discuss the future of work with her. And rather than having a typical podcast, we will having a conversation with her on the future of works. So, Elira, I would like to request you, before getting deeper in the conversation, that can you share your story? What is your story?
Woo! Oh my goodness, that can be podcast itself. Well, I have some podcasts about it on my own podcast. Well, I was born in very small village, very small country, Lithuania, and I shared with you, and not many people even know that country. It's such a tiny country. And I was born in a like at the edge of the village, at the edge of the country. It's at the edge of the street of the village. And inside I had so many like ambitious ideas, and I always thought the world should be bigger than what I'm accessing. And this is where I started to question life, question our society, question how we our potential as well, from very early age. And I always had this visionary kind of part of me that I had this vision of the future. I still have it. I had very strong like values, how I want to see the world. I came in this world like this little wise lady. It's like I started to speak and I spoke perfect language, like this old soul. And then I really started to challenge society, challenge the world, question everything. And this is where I got interested in human potential and the way we structure our business. And this is where I laid my path of psychology. I studied psychology. I studied human resources. I worked a lot in that field, but I also was very curious about a business, because I think the business is kind of laying the foundation of our society structure, like how we relate, how we express ourselves, how we exchange. And I felt like if we're going to change the world, the business will be the one that lays the new foundations for our society. And the way we relate, the way we exchange money, the way we express. Look, you are 15 years old and you're doing podcasts from Pakistan. Like, I even didn't know what podcast was when I was 15 years old. I was dancing on the bar. So it's such a different time and generation, and we were like literally having different approach now, and everything is changing so much. And those two areas, like the business and human psychology, got so much interest for me. And this was the path that I like went very steadily through all my career. So I worked in a lot of different businesses in different positions, very international companies, big companies, small startups, and a management team, part of the employees. Now I have my own company and I'm exploring entrepreneurship very deeply. So those two aspects for me are two, like, what I care about. And for me, at the core of it is the care to see how young generation like comes into workforce, like to support them, to lay the path so they're not confused, they stick to their truth, they stick to who they are, because it's so confusing now in the world. Like, it's so changing and so transformative, and you can easily get lost in all of that. Like, there's no like clear pathway. When I grew up, I knew if I want to do successful career, there was a very clear one-way pathway you had to do, go university, you get the job, like climb career ladders. Now it's not true anymore. So for me, my heart desire is to, and that's why I love to have this conversation with you today, because I love to support a young generation to find their foot in the world, because I feel like young entrepreneurs, young generation, they have such a deep knowing inside what they came here for, like such a deep ambition as well. It's just the struggle of implementation and finding your way with that. But it's such a different generation in a way. And I'm very, very fired up about that, and to be and to mentor and somehow contribute to pave the pathway so you guys have easier way to find and build and express yourself. That's
Wonderful,
its short
Elira.
introduction.
Yeah, it really is. It is a short introduction, and which opens up some great questions in my mind. And it's such a great way to start this. And I'm very truly grateful to you that you finally came into this podcast, and you uh, gave your precious time for this, that allows you to take this step. I'm truly grateful to you.
Oh, I'm so happy you were also very determined. And I think we had this meeting point about what you care about and why you do this podcast, and what I care about. And it's a beautiful meeting point for us to have a conversation about this.
Exactly. So, Elira, what is your business called, and how long have you been doing this?
So my business is called Elira Flow. I put the website in my next to my name if you want to check it out. I've been entrepreneur on my own business for I think 6 years now, and it's really focusing on entrepreneurship, on business, but not on the strategies and goals and how to do like to do stuff, but more on your own becoming, on your psychology, on your embodiment of your nervous system, like how to access your capacity, your creativity, your voice, your purpose. So it's really that psychology part of the business. So, and I've been building very non-conventional body of work to support that, like everything in my business. And it took me quite some years to arrive to that place, to go to the depth of it, really, to support people powerfully. So yeah, I really love what is coming and becoming with that.
What inspired you to come up with in this kind of field, human psychology? Like, I'm just curious.
What so when I was working in a corporate world, and I was working in a talent development, and a lot of observations that I had there, and a lot of issues, a lot of struggles, no matter how many cultures, how many different departments, like I start to see the patterns. And I start to see a few patterns. So first of all, somehow talent development, coaching of talent development was not really coaching of how do you access your true potential, but more how do you fit the corporation, how do you fit the politics of the organization, like how do we shape you in the box, instead like how you are different, like how do we unlock your creativity instead of like make you the slave, in a way. So for me it was like, I don't think it's really helpful. And a lot of people, like there's massive numbers of burnout happening in the business world because of that, because we kill the the psyche of the human. We kill the creativity. We kill the how we actually function as a cyclic human being, as a nature being, instead of like being treated as the industry machine that we have to produce, on the clock. And then another part where when I started to deal with a lot of like human potential issues, because that was my job as human resources executive, I noticed the core issue was often not that people couldn't get promotion, that they didn't have the skills, that they didn't have a talent, but often it was their capacity to hold their dreams, their desires, to hold whatever that expansion is inviting them. Because how many times, Fahad, did you witness like, oh, there's opportunity coming, and then people sabotage because they don't have capacity to really hold that opportunity? Like their nervous system is freaking out, they feel unworthy, or it feels unsafe, all kind of things. So it always ended up to be not the strategy issue, not the skill set, not the ideas, but implementation of it, and implementation through the capacity. Like the people just didn't have capacity for it. And sometimes you build capacity through building the skills, building the familiarity, building, like you do these podcasts. Now you're on the roll of 100, like you're building the capacity, building the skill, and you're learning how to be a better podcaster, right? So, but it's often like, imagine if you had like opportunity of your lifetime to interview someone, like you really feel like, wow, that would be, I can imagine what's going on in your capacity, in your head, in your body, like the stress level. And sometimes then we don't bring the best of ourselves. This is where we don't come the best. So this is where what laid the foundation for me of capacity-based growth instead of goal focused like approach like business have. And again, that care for human potential. Like for me, I just care like to see how you don't fit in the box instead of like how to put you in a box in a society, embrace that part of the uniqueness. And I think that's a little bit the future where we're going. Like we all will be forced to embrace our uniqueness.
Exactly, exactly. It's a great concept. So, like you're telling us, instead of focusing on your goal, you have to focus where you are lagging. Is that correct?
Not fully. It's nothing wrong with the goals, but this goal setting mindset, but it's part of it. It's not full picture, because you should have dreams, you should have goals, you should have desires, you should have vision. Like that's very inspiring and part of leading yourself and what you're here to bring in the world. But sometimes we have a dream, we have a vision, but our body is not on board. Like I want to have money, but my body is like, I'm terrified to have money, to hold money, to receive money, and I'm contracting and I'm not allowing it. I want to do this project, but like I'm terrified to, like, now I'm not into I don't have capacity to have more clients, I don't have capacity to do more. Like we have to look a bit more holistically, look into your emotional body and your physical body and your mental body. Like how do you, in your energy, that's why I so much talk about business in line in nature, like us as more holistic nature beings instead of like machines that we have to produce the goal. Like then we override a lot of things, a lot of sensations, a lot of feelings, a lot of whispers and intuitions when we just focus into that goal instead of like bringing ourselves where we are with that. Like what's going on, what's your capacity, what's going on, like literally, like what do you feel in a way, so that's what I'm talking about, like really being all of you through the journey you're going.
Exactly, wonderful. If anybody who is watching, do you have any kind of question, feel free to ask, and Elira will
Yeah.
answer it, related to future of work, related to any kind of theory you have in your related to business. So Elira, it was wonderful, and I believe it happens because we live in a particular area, in a particular house, in a particular, and everything is same, as same as they were before. So there comes traveling and seeing the other part of the world. Maybe and it really would change your view of thinking, your concept of seeing this world. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is where I started to travel as a young person very quickly. And it like literally opened my mind to levels I don't even knew it could. It's like it's the same thing, like how rich, how different, how diverse the world is. And I remember the pivotal moment for me was I was in Belgium. I went to study in Belgium. I studied a master degree, and I did a party with my friends with and I did like traditional Lithuanian food. Like I wanted to, because my friends were like so many nationalities at that time, and I so enjoyed it. And I did in Lithuania, we have this traditional pink soup. It's the color pink. And I ate that pink soup all my life. I love it. It's delicious. And it never crossed my mind that the color pink for the soup may look very weird. And I remember the moment that, these moments when you realize, oh my gosh, what else I'm taking for granted and I don't realize it's different. So we're sitting at this table and all my friends are so excited to have traditional Lithuanian food. And then I put this pink soup and everyone is like afraid to taste because it's like really pink. Um, and this was the moment when I realized, oh my gosh, I just took it as the most normal thing in the world because I'm used to it, because that's what I ate every day. That's, who I was. That's how we related. And then how many things we have this limited perspective, but actually it's not true. And that's what I'm also poking people, like tap into bigger potential of yourself.
Exactly, exactly. Lyra, sometimes we don't realize that things are getting weirder, weirder every day, and we they such kind of things get fixed when we move to another place. And when we move to another place, we start thinking, "Oh, that was that mistake, and I was lagging there." And when I
Yeah.
am here, so I'm seeing that that was wrong there, and now it is fixed automatically because when I changed my place, I'm thinking in a new, completely different way, and that yeah, so that is exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I love that you're bringing this up because actually that's what I want people, especially young people, question everything. Like question, like, is this normal? Is this how you want to see the world? Is this how you want to relate? Is this how you want to build business? Is this how you want to like feed the education in yourself? Like question everything, because actually when you question, you tap into that creative power, or like contribution. How do you want to be? How do you want to build? How do you want to create? Who do you want to be? What are your values? And that dictates the different tone.
Exactly, it's such a wonderful way. So you often speak about soft power and sacred self leadership. How do these concepts redefine traditional notions of leadership in the evolving workplace?
Yeah. Well, first I want to poke you. What comes to you when you hear soft power? Like what, like if you don't know anything, like what comes to you? What do you feel? What do you think that is?
The inner power which is hidden under you and you don't realize about it.
I love that. Yeah, I came to this. It's very very true. You said it very well. I see you're very smart, Fahad. I realized more I did my inner work, more I embrace my own authenticity, like who I am, how I function, more I start to reclaim my personal power, more it started to be soft. People like we have a lot of in the business world representation of this hard power, like louder, bigger, more, push, hierarchy. But that's for me, I feel like it's changing in the world. Like that's the bit old business paradigm. And I feel sometimes when you tap into yourself so deeply that you have nothing to prove, that quiet power, but you like so yourself and so rooted into your personal power, that you don't need to be loud, but you can be super impactful because everyone feels it. It's kind of different radio station. Like when you're around these authentic people who are really themselves, you're really in their element, you really do what they love, right? They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to speak loud. They're just radiant, and everyone is magnetic towards them. So that's what I call like this soft power, like really personal power in a way.
It's really wonderful, and very important as well. We sometimes we have a lot of talents in ourselves. We have a lot of things which we can do and nobody else. But
Yeah,
still, people afraid of talking us. If people avoid us, avoid of talking with us or anything else. So that is the great concept which can open others for you, to put it
yeah,
on that way.
totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and actually, you touched about this, like afraid to express our talents. Why do you think that is? Because it is like I feel one of the biggest fears in the world still is to be yourself and to really go what their this internal wisdom or whisper is guiding you to. But we're so afraid. We still try to find like, okay, so what is it? How do I shape? What does it work in the world? Like I adapt that. Oh, Fahad, you disappeared. Oh, you came back.
Actually, it happens because sometimes we think if I would express that, if I would uh, tell them about that I have this and I can do this, maybe what will they think about that? And maybe they will laugh at me or they will not accept it. So such kind of things, there are still a lot of things which comes in your mind whenever it comes to show off what you are and what do you have.
Exactly. And this is what I call performative culture, business culture, instead of authentic business culture. Because what you just said the root cause of most of my coaching sessions I have. We, underneath it all, there's like a deep, deep desire to be loved. Like it's a need. It's one of the most important and number one human needs. It's to be loved, to have a connection, to have a belonging. And we can go far, far to compromise ourselves, our dreams, our talents in order to belong. Like we betray ourselves. And that's for me what I go very deep into. And this is where I think it's also around that very social nervous system part where we don't feel safe to be ourselves with others. So then we start to perform. When we start to please others, we start to please our audience, please our clients in a way, and we kind of shut down that part of our truth, our authenticity, of our, like, how dare you rebel part, to think that or to dream that. And this is like, I love that you name that, because this is really at the core what I work with my clients. I go very deep. I'm not working superficial layer, like, because imagine if you were not afraid, like how different you would create, how different would show up, like how different you bring yourself in the world.
Exactly, Lara. It's still an explored topic, and people don't often talk about this. We have to spread such kind of topics to get finally fixed results of it. Anyways, so in your experience, how does honoring the body's wisdom and nervous system capacity influence sustainable productivity and prevent burnout?
Yeah, yeah, I think, and we talked a lot about this before, that yeah, especially young people, they're not fully in their bodies. They're on the phone, but they are like really, we're not fully anchored in our body. And especially as sensitive people, and I think we all are sensitive in a way, we just learn to numb ourselves down, like not to feel, not to sense so deeply in this overwhelming world. But if you really allowed yourself to like tap into yourself, this is where your nervous system becomes a kind of the core of your body wisdom. Like your nervous system doesn't talk through language; it talks through sensations. Like if you feel excited and open, it means like, oh, this is, we like it, it's a yes. If body feels contracted, if you feel like you cannot, like your arms are numb or your face is numb or you feel like very tight jaws, it's like your body communicating that it's a no, it's unsafe, it's scared. And often when we don't know how to listen our body, how to listen our nervous system, because our nervous system is like a bodyguard helping us to navigate through life, and it looks through the lens of like, is it safe and is it not, is it safe, is it not, like how to protect you. And it's very primal, and it helps us to survive through many generations, right? We are here where we're here because of our nervous system, and it's encoded a lot of our ancestors' wisdom in our nervous system. But we have to learn to listen to it. We have to learn how it communicates, because if we don't, this is where we burn ourselves. We override our intuition, we override our capacity as well. So this is where, for me, nervous system work is at the core of helping you to learn to connect with yourself deeply. Like, how do you feel safe? Like, how do you bring, and how do you help yourself grow? Because for your nervous system as well, everything what is new is a threat, it's unsafe. So you have to help your body to to navigate the expansion. So this is again at the core of my work as well. Like, how do we do expansion, but that in a way that your body doesn't feel contracted, that feels more with ease, with naturalness, with building that capacity, in a way that feels more not terrifying but joyful.
I would say whoever named the system as a nervous system, it's just very perfect name, nervous system, because um, it is true, we all are nervous, we all are, sorry, sensitive, because we are humans. And
Yeah.
when we born as a baby, when we are baby, we feel everything. We feel every, whenever our parents uh, say anything in anger, we just start crying. But that was the when we were baby. But as the passage of time, when we see the world, because world is very terrifying, people are not that careful as our parents are. Then
Yeah,
we
totally.
start um, you know shifting ourselves into in a certain way that we get stubborn. We
Yeah.
now we no more feel any sensitive thing. We no more feel any person who is talking in an angry way, because even we start talking with in an angry way too.
Yes, yes, totally. And I think this is where also a little bit like the old business paradigm, what I call old business paradigm, is it's also conditioned not to, like, somehow when you're sensitive, you're weak. There's some kind of, it doesn't glorify if you're in business that you are sensitive. And I had to work a lot through, and nervous system work really helped me to reclaim my sensitivity. And now my sensitivity is actually my superpower, because my sensitivity helps me to attune to my clients. My sensitivity helps me to access my creativity, because this is the channel of like where our most like divine part is, like most creative part is. This is where the most loving part is, this is, so I kind of unlocked totally different work and approach because I embraced my sensitivity, and I helped to navigate that nervous system, like, hey, actually it's okay, it's safe, like learn to not to shame myself that I'm sensitive, because I was always very sensitive. But now, like, I embrace my sensitivity so much that no, I'm almost destructible. Like nobody can really kick me out of my core, because I'm okay that I'm sensitive, I'm okay that I'm angry, I'm okay that I'm sad, I'm okay that I'm ouch, I'm hurt. This is where that soft power comes in, because I know how to be soft with myself. And then, like, I don't need to defend myself, to put the guards up, because yeah, I'm embrace this. I know how to navigate myself, manage myself.
This is because you have accepted yourself, and this is what we
Yeah.
all have to do. Accept
Yes.
everything, each and everything we have, whether it's bad, whether it's good. So, anyways, the future of work is increasingly digital and fast paced. How can individuals maintain authenticity and presence amidst such rapid change?
Wow, this is such a great question, Fahad. Like, I also want to hear your opinion about it because I feel like you have a lot of wisdom about this as well. And grew up with the phone and with technology. Like, when I was your age, I didn't have computer. I didn't have internet. So I'm like this old generation still, where I played outside with my friends. And so, what do you think? Like, how this technology is shaping the like our own well-being, but also the future work?
It is just the results are awesome, and the results are everywhere in every industry, almost in every industry, whether it's any kind of job. When you go there and you see AI is everywhere. You know, it's now called AI. Before that, I don't know what was that, but it's now whenever people are talking about the fast-paced technology, so they are definitely talking about AI, and especially ChatGPT. Um, what was the that chatbot launched by China? I just forgot. Whatever it is. So, like, I mean, the results are awesome. No one can, uh, you know, no one can clarify this, that how great the results are. And even in my school, our mentor, created a completely new school, seeing this technology, where we can learn through AI, where we can learn how to perform the same work we can do through AI, and how can we get
Yeah.
that done. So that is my opinion.
Yeah. And do you see like damaging side of it? Like, everything has good and bad side. Like, what do you feel it's not a good side or at least the way we relate or how we do AI and everything. Like, I agree with you. Fundamentally, AI can such a enhance our society and us. But what is the negative side?
The negative sides are that we are just losing our sensitivity. We are losing our humanity. Put it on that
Yeah.
way. So when we often use robotic things, robotic stuff, whether it's physically, whether it's virtually, it really affects your own brain as well. You are doing
Yeah.
everything through AI, then you are losing your own creativity, you are losing your
Yeah.
empathy, you can't think of helping others because you are doing your work even not by yourself. You're doing your work by AI. So how can you think that you should help that man or something like that? There are a lot of bad sides as well, and I often, when I scroll through social media, I come across a lot of posts where people are talking about bad sides, bad effects, rather than talking on good effects.
Yeah.
Because as the passage of time, the war will increase very greatly. It is
Yeah.
going to be a very big war about this.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. And I
still,
love what you're sharing, and I will
yeah.
share my own perspective on it. Yeah. Sorry, you wanted that to say something more?
No, I'm done. You can.
Okay. So I will share my answer as well on this. And I see from my perspective and from my, what I work in nervous system and capacity and human potential. So I think AI can be very good and AI can be very damaging. The same thing as any other tool. It's more how we use it. How do we relate to it? If we come to from this place of unhealthy dependency, what you just say, like, it's the same like with a coffee. If you drink coffee and you're addicted and you cannot live without it, you have unhealthy dependency, right? So same goes with AI. If you delegate what you just said to AI, your humanity, your creativity, your energy, your heart, It drives you instead of you using as a tool to support you to be a better human being or do better work. It's very different place and different outcome that will happen. So this is why I work so much of knowing yourself and staying in your power. You can use AI to help you to find your voice. Like you want to share something and you ask AI to edit, or so okay, that's how can improve my voice, my expression. But if you let AI completely run your business and write everything for you, which I agree with you, like I go on the internet now and I don't think I find any post that it's written by human. And you can see now, like you can recognize when it's AI written, right? Like there are some things that you start to see the patterns. And it's very off-putting. It's disconnecting from me because I want to connect to you. I want to know what you have to say as a human being. Like, Fahad, I'm curious, like, what do you think? What do you care about as 15 years old, a boy who has big ambitions, instead of what AI has to say? Like it's kind of blocks my connection with you in a way. So for me, and also from the physiology, like from nervous system perspective, our nervous system is not built to such a fast-paced world. Our nervous system is not built to consume so much information in such a short time. Like 100 years ago, we consumed information or received information in half a year what we consume now in one day. So imagine what it does to our body, how it impacts. And this is where we get desensitized. This is where we get overstimulated, where we get like really overwhelmed very often, almost every day. And this is where we need to go to all these addictions like drugs, coffee, all kind of snacks or Netflix, like to kind of come down ourselves, because it's just overwhelming for our human body. Like our body is not built for that. So we also have to think, like, how do we relate to that? Like, how do we not to numb ourselves out? And does it empower us, or we give our power away? So that's for me at the core of it.
It's just a beautiful opinion by you. And the people back in 100 days ago, their um, speed of adopting things was just amazing. They could adopt anything very in a very few moment. They can learn anything very fastly. Their
Yeah,
nervous system was very good. Their sensitivity, their empathy was very good. But now, like a robot, we are acting
yeah,
like a robot. We don't have uh, even our things doesn't make sense. We don't
yeah.
know how
This
to
is the
talk like a
question.
human. Yeah.
This is the question. Like, I also agree that AI can be so powerful and it can enhance our humanity, enhance our society in so many ways. But for what? Like, if we lose ourselves on the way, like, what's the point then? So it's like my voice and my message here is like we should continuously come back to connect to ourselves, what we care about, what we want to see, question everything, because then we just create another oppression, another slavery in a way, where we think we're enhancing ourselves, but actually we're giving power away. So it's a very hot topic. I know a lot of people are talking about it.
Exactly, Lyra. Exactly. So, thank you so much, Elira Tikute, for giving me a precious and a valuable time for the podcast all the way from Georgia. And
Yeah,
you just told me about completely a new country which I didn't know. With Lithia, is that correct?
Lithuania. You have to check it after in the map. Yes, Lithuania. It's very tiny. It's like,
Lithuania.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just amazing. I just met someone with completely a new country, but she's living in in Georgia, and we have only 1 hour time difference, and it's just
yeah,
really amazing because whenever I meet people, they have 12 hours time difference or 11, 10, you know, but
yeah.
it
Beautiful.
just happened first time with me. So Thank you so much, Lyra, and thank you so much, listeners and viewers, for watching this podcast. Inshallah, meet you
Yeah.
soon with another amazing podcast with another amazing guest to discuss the future works. Till then, stay peace and